What's up, Nation? Really appreciate you all. Thank you all for tuning in. We're gonna do another late night series talk. Really appreciate those who are in the mix, man. It's one of those things where is roster talk is always special, and then if you add in the fact this right here with Ezekiel Elliott, off the field, on the field, and can we be better with him? Can we be better without him? I would say this team is a whole lot better with him. Let's use that as a disclaimer. And my thing is Ezekiel Elliott getting the wrong news? Is he getting the wrong advice from somebody? That's how we got to look at it. Who is giving Ezekiel Elliott the advice to live his day-to-day operations as it relates to off the field? Those are things that we really got to pay attention to. And then on top of that, when we start talking about roster in general, who we should get, who we shouldn't get, and things like that, it's always a fickle process, especially as it relates to this team, because we can look at this team as a total failure, or we can look at this team as a total success, or we can look at this team as like, oh, okay, here we go again. We're gonna be back to average, And I look at it that we are a whole lot better than that. We are a whole lot better than being average. And let me know if you guys feeling the same way. And I made a post earlier, and it wasn't my post. I should have put a disclaimer on it. It was Jeff Kavanaugh. And let me see if I can pull up those stats, man. He was pretty much saying that, let me see if I can find it. It's on my Instagram. And a lot of people upset. It says in 2015, the Cowboys couldn't run the ball, right? But when the Cowboys couldn't run the ball, that's what they're saying. It was 315 carries, DMC, Randall. Everybody know who Randall is, the guy who stole the draws. He had 1,404 carries. As collective, they had collective 7 touchdowns, 50 receptions, 8.3 yards per reception. And then last year, of course, Ezekiel Elliott ran for 1,434 yards, 6 touchdowns, 77 receptions, 7.4. Now, stats can be misguiding. Stats can paint a picture to the wrong story. And what happened here is when you look at the stats, you begin to say to yourself, man, oh man, this team is better, But the reality of it is still the same, Cowboy Nation. We must find a way to get and keep Ezekiel Elliott on his team, regardless of how you look at it, because regardless of how you look at it, fam, when you look at Ezekiel Elliott, his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, and then on top of that, if you sprinkle in the fact that you have a Tony Pollard out there, man. Shout out to you, Young Wilson, man. Appreciate you all the way. It's still early where you at in Hawaii time. But what I'm saying is that you want Ezekiel Elliott to be on this team regardless of how you look at it. You want that boy to be on this team. You want Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott mix to be there. Don't look at 2015 as saying, okay, we can do it with those two guys, so meaning we could do it with Tony Pollard and let's say Alfred Morris, or let's say who else would be Jordan Chan or somebody. No, you don't do it that way. We got the opportunity now to have a team whereas we can say, man, this team can be everything. Shout out to y'all, man. Let me see who we got over here. Clorox Bleach, what's good? Cowboys all day from the Hawaii. Yes, what I'm talking about, Ryan. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Are y'all ready for this preseason game tomorrow? Who y'all think is going to get cut? Shout out to you, man. Knight, what's good with you? Dan, what's good with you, man? Appreciate you all the way up from Tennessee. Late night owl like me, you know what I mean? How about them Cowboys all day, every day, outdoor? What's good with you? Let me know how you guys feel about Ezekiel Elliott situation. Do you guys feel that he's doing the right thing of holding out, saying he got 2 years left on his contract? He played 3 years solid for us. 2.5 years solid he played for us. Little situation with Roger Goodell wasn't his fault. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Virginia in the house. What's good with you, man? Oh, you said a negotiation. The negotiation for the nation. I woke you up, my bad, fam. Well, you up, you live with the nation now, baby. I got my blanket here, man. I got my my Cowboys blanket. Man, y'all finna go to sleep with me, man. And hell, if I can't go to sleep, you guys can't go to sleep. How about that? um, Darius Jackson with Pollard. I didn't see a lot of Darius Jackson. I don't think that he's going to find a way to stay on his team. I think that he may be a cut. I think so. I think they're going to roll with. But then again, it's crazy because with the 53-man roster, you can look at it like this. Robert Quinn, he's suspended, so you don't have to count him towards the 53. So there's a roster spot for him. You can squeeze on an extra running back for 2 weeks. It's just like a blessing in disguise. You can have an extra roster spot for 2 weeks and say to yourself, okay, you got 2 weeks to show us something. If not, then you're going to hit the door. Let's see what we got here. He says, you said you like having Morris. I feel you on that. You like having Morris. Nene, what's good? Yeah, he didn't show up for his award. That's a good observation. Great observation for the Cowboys too to give him the MVP. Not saying that he was not the MVP, but that was a great observation. The Cowboys said, you know what? We're going to give you the MVP. We want you to be out here. And they probably gave him a call saying, hey, we're going to give you this award, you know. We would like for you to be out there. Can you fly in? But here's my thing. I guarantee you what happened here was the fact that Marshall Faulk probably told Ezekiel Elliott, and you know Ezekiel Elliott is listening to those guys. Marshall Faulk told Ezekiel Elliott, hey, look, hey, don't go down there and give them any attention till you get that money. Don't do nothing for them. They trying to hoodwink you. They're gonna use you up and they're gonna spit you out like old worn out food. Don't listen to them. Bet you that's what Ezekiel is doing. He's listening to Marshall Faulk. I bet you my bottom dollar. That's what's happening. Don't go down there and take that award. It's a trap. But if you heard from 105.3 The Fan this morning, Jerry Jones said, hey, it's always better to negotiate in person. It's hard to negotiate somebody way in Cabo, you know. He didn't say that last sentence, but it's hard to negotiate somebody that's away. For example, the ladies that's in the chat box, would you prefer a man to propose to you in person, or would you oppose propose to a guy to propose to you? I think you can say that, or via the phone. You know, you would like for that guy to be in person. You would like for that guy to serenade you. You like for him to take you out, maybe to a nice restaurant that you guys can both identify with. So a proposal would be better in person opposed to over the phone. I can't talk tonight, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? So the ladies would know what I'm saying. Miss Scott and Pro, not only did Zeke attend Charles Haley event at Top Golf, he attended Dak's event. He also trained together with my friend Melvin. I'll DM you sometimes. Okay, that's Miss Scott and Pro. So he did attend the event, or he didn't? Just clarify for me. So he attended the Dak Prescott event. He attended the Charles Haley event, and he didn't attend the award ceremony. Feathers are roughing. Feathers are roughing. Hit me up with that, Misguided Pro. And you got my email address. Hit me up. Natasha says in person for sure. So maybe that's what they're doing now. If he's in town and he attended these charitable events, then Jerry Jones should fly around in his helicopter and find him and, you know, take him to his nice restaurant, make sure the temperature is nice and these sorts of things, and just have a man-to-man talk. I said it earlier before, is that sometimes they just probably need to just kick back their feet. You know, maybe he get his Johnny Walker Blue, Ezekiel Elliott chill out with his Corona, what have you, and they just sit there and talk. They don't even have to talk about sports. They don't even have to talk about football. They just have a conversation and say, hey, how do you really feel, Ezekiel? Where do you think that this team can be? How much more money do you want? And then they slide in that conversation with the money. You see, I think that by the LA Rams overpaying for Todd Gurley, $45 million. The next contract that's close to Todd Gurley's guaranteed money is like 34, 35 million. And that's Le'Veon Bell's. And then from Le'Veon Bell, the next money that's close to his is 31 million by, I think the guy named, played for the Arizona. So that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, Cowboy Nation. Tons and tons of money. Let me see what else we have here. 45 million, Dre the Great. Zeke is the proof that every year. Night 405 says Zeke is the proof why you never draft a running back in the first round. I mean, we kicked off that trend because Todd Gurley was the first running back that was drafted in the first round from a long, long time. And then we turned around and we drafted Ezekiel Elliott with the 4th overall pick. But remember this, Cowboy Nation. I want everybody to remember this. Ezekiel Elliott was not in plans for this particular team. I have to be real with you guys. I cannot lie to kick it. He was not in plans for this particular team. Ezekiel Elliott was in plans for Tony Romo to ride off into the sunset, to ride off into like Terrell Davis did for John Elway. Not saying it because Terrell Davis was undrafted or drafted in the late rounds, what have you. But the whole idea was they saw something from what DeMarco Murray was able to do. They ran away from it in 2015, and they said, you know what? We're going to try to replicate that. Go ahead and give Tony Romo the best running back that's in the NFL. Well, it's coming out of the draft. We have a solidified running back. We have a great quarterback. We have a dynamic wide receiver in Dez Bryant. We have a Hall of Famer and a tight end. Nothing can go wrong. We got a nice offensive line. Everything was in place for Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Romo administration to go on this nasty tear. But what happened was, unfortunately, Tony Romo went down. And from there, it just, everything else crumbled. You had to throw in a developmental quarterback who had to take time to develop. And we've been so anxious, just like Genuine said, so anxious, he sang that song. We've been so anxious and so greedy of wanting to win a Super Bowl that those things happen. Those things happen. Can you guys still hear me? Because my face is froze up on the screen here. Let me see if I still got connection here. Let me see if I can do this right here. Let me see. Can you guys still hear me? I'm frozen, solid. Let me know. I'm supposed to have good connection right here at this spot, so let me know what's going on. I'm still live showing here. All right. Make sure my phone is there. Let me know if you guys can still hear me and see me. Give me a thumbs up. Yellow. All right. Yellow.